is still on the ballot box. Yes, Arise South Africa is going to be on all 9 provincial ballot papers come the 29th of May 2024. And we implore each and every one of you to say, go out there and vote for Arise South Africa. Welcome. If you are new here, please make sure that you like and subscribe. This is where we love, we grow, and we help each other rescue South Africa from the evil that we see it in today. Now, many of you have sent in messages to say, President, what is the update? Last time we had a meeting, you informed us that Arise South Africa is going to court. What's the current update? What is going on? And I seek to do exactly that. Update you and make sure that you're well informed and you know exactly what is going on. Now, before we jump into it, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? Where are you tuning in from tonight? Welcome to each and every one of you. Now, Arise South Africa is a political party that was started last year, 2023, and it is going for the 2024 national and provincial elections. Now, as many of you know, we are on the ballot paper for all 9 provinces in South Africa. However, when it came to national, we were informed that we were taken off the national ballot because we did not type something. And I said to each and every one of you to say, we are not going to take it down lightly. We are going to go the leadership route. We're going to ensure that each and every one of us, we approach the courts as Arise South Africa and we get what's right. Now, before we went to the court, we first started off by going to the IEC to try and fix this. And unfortunately, our complaints fell on deaf ears and we approached the courts. Why did we approach the courts? Because we felt that it is not enough for Arise South Africa just to be on the provincial ballot. No, we need to be on the national ballot. And that's why it's important that each and every one of us did the right thing. Now, when we filed our court papers, we went ahead and we filed. We went to Bloemfontein. That's where you have to file the papers. And these are the papers that we filed. You know the culture here at Arise South Africa. We show you everything because you are part of the process. You are a leader in the country. So that's why we show you everything. And make sure that you share this video with everybody. Share the video. Share the video. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuning in. I see one of our leaders here, the head of the fundraising committee. We are with you and our provincial leaders. Thank you so much, leader. Thank you, leader Tapelo says leadership. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, these are the papers which Arise South Africa filed. In the Electoral Court, case number, Arise South Africa and the Electoral Commission of South Africa held at Bloemfontein. Notice of intent oppose. This is what they responded. They are basically saying that we want to oppose the papers that Arise South Africa filed in the court. You will remember that when it happened, we didn't just sit down. No, I reached out to different lawyers, and at that time, it was a weekend, and we reached out to Advocate Dalim Pofu, and the advocate said, President, I am here to assist. And we thank the advocate for assisting us, and we went through over the weekend. We drafted the papers, as you can see here, and we sat down with the best legal minds in the country, and we said, we cannot allow this to happen. Arise South Africa must be on all 9 provincial ballots, which we are, and the national ballot, because we can't just be on the one. No, we refuse to be mediocre at Arise. Everything has to be excellent. Everything needs to be the best. And that's what South Africa is. South Africa is a country and a land of the best. And we have that conviction, and that's what we believe. So when we went ahead and we filed our papers with the court, they then filed papers as the IEC to say, we are going to oppose. Those are the papers that they then filed. This is all the proof that you need to see. Everything is here. And why do we do this? Why do we show you everything so transparent? Because you are the leaders in our country. It is we, the people, that must govern and lead South Africa, not a bunch of people that sit in Stellenbosch that call themselves the Stellenbosch Mafia and decide what should happen with our country. No, we object and we reject that. It is the people that need to lead. One of the things we want to do is make sure that there's more accountability in our country, and we strive and we fight for that accountability every single day. Now, when they said that they want to oppose what Arise South Africa did, they sent through a letter, basically. This is the judge's chamber, the Supreme Court of Appeal in our country. And they basically sent through this. They said the respondent is directed to file an answering affidavit by no later than 5:30 on Thursday, the 4th of April. Now remember, everything is moving fast because the elections are in 52 days. The elections are in 52 days. So everything is moving fast. And I want you in the chat box right now, type in, I am voting for Arise South Africa. In the chat box, type in, I am voting for Arise South Africa. We need to trend and we need the world to know that we are voting for Arise South Africa. There is a new government, and that's the government that will be taking over come the 29th of May 2024, Arise South Africa. So they said that they wanted to respond to us by the 4th of April. And come the 4th of April, we waited. There was no response. Now, this is a legal document. This is the judge's chamber. I'm telling you, Supreme Court of Appeal. We waited for the 4th of April. We waited. Nothing came through. They did not respond. Then in the evening, remember they were supposed to respond to us on the 4th of April at 5:30. They did not respond. I said to the legal counsels and to the senior advocates, I said, what games are they playing? If we filed papers as Arise South Africa, we waited. They said they're going to oppose. We waited. The court sent a letter saying the respondent is directed to file an answering affidavit by no later than this, by the way, is a court document. We waited. They did not respond. After waiting and noticing that they did not respond, once we are following up to say, why have you not responded? We are waiting. The people of South Africa are waiting because they want to vote for Arise South Africa, even on the national ballot. As we waited, now remember that was the court that gave that instruction to say that they must do it no later than the 4th of April. They didn't do it. They then sent in a letter on the 4th of April. Basically, what this letter was saying, it was a letter, if you read number 2, it says, the commission is unfortunately not in a position to file an answering affidavit by 5 o'clock on the 4th of April. Now, firstly, the court compelled them to file an answering affidavit by 5:30. They sent a letter to say that, unfortunately, they are not in a position to file. Already, we are seeing loopholes. Already, we are seeing that when the court is directing them to say, Arise South Africa has sent through everything, they've drafted their affidavit, you are to respond to them. We all saw it, by the way. We all saw it. Let me go back to it because somebody says that they didn't see what the court informed them. I want everybody to see it together. The court said the respondent, which is IEC, is directed to file an answering affidavit by no later than 5:30 on Thursday, the 4th of April, 2024. On Thursday, the 4th of April, Arise South Africa waited. We received nothing. Then, on that very day in the evening, the commission sent a letter to the Electoral Court, to the Honorable Justice Zondi, and they said that the commission is unfortunately not in a position to file an answering affidavit by 5 o'clock on the 4th of April. These are delay tactics. Arise South Africa filed their papers on time. We worked with counsel over the long weekend. And the commission comes back and says, unfortunately, they are not able to do so, while the court has said to them that they should do so. So we've seen them for what they are doing. Delay tactics. Now remember what I said to each and every one of you. I said, when the enemy is trying to attack us, one of the things the enemy will do is the enemy will try and make us focus on the wrong thing. Let me teach this because people don't understand it. When the enemy is attacking you in your life, he will ensure that you focus on the wrong thing. Because whatever you focus on, that's where your energy goes to. We are 52 days away from the election. Every single political party should be focusing on canvassing and focusing on going out there and making sure that voters are available and are aware, and that voters and party agents are aware to support Arise South Africa. But what the enemy then planned was to say, this engine, this group, this nation called Arise South Africa is moving too fast. How do we distract them? And they brought about this that we are seeing. I mean, how do you have a commission filing papers late to the court? How does that even make sense? We are supposed to be done by now, because remember, there was a signing where all political parties had to go sign the code of conduct for the national elections. We could not attend because we're still waiting for them to respond. So I want all of us as leaders of Arise South Africa to be aware that we are under attack. It's not business as usual. It's not a normal day. No, we are under attack. They want to distract us from the election. They want us to be focused on court cases. Do you know that the whole of last week, as the president of Arise South Africa, I couldn't move because we were waiting for a court date. I couldn't go out and canvass. I couldn't go out and rally people to begin to be aware that Arise South Africa is there because I'm waiting to go to Bloemfontein for the court date. I can't book flights. I need to drive from Johannesburg. And it dawned on me to say that when the enemy, or what the enemy is trying to do, is to distract us. And as Arise South Africa, I need all of us to not be distracted. We need to see this for what, I mean, what do you call it? What do you call it when you are waiting for the IEC to come back to us? And the IEC is basically saying that, no, court, we cannot do so on that day. What do you call it? Let me hear in the chat box. Let me see what people are saying in the chat box. Yes, people are asking. They're saying, who is Mota Africa, the Commission's legal counsel? Yeah, we don't know. It's the people that got the tender to represent the commission, I guess. So, yeah, that's it. What are people saying? What are people saying? Hey, who is this Asanda? Asanda saying being funded by someone we don't know and posters every convince us to vote for you. Asanda. Hey, ye err because you know not. We are not who you think we are. You are confusing us. Asanda Zikala. Please. Oh, Zigalala. Asanda Zigalala. Please. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. What you are saying is very foolish. Get the right information so that you don't make a fool out of yourself. You are talking about something you don't even know. We don't have posters out there, and we are not funded by who you think we are funded by. Please, you need to make sure that you know, because Arise South Africa is a very knowledgeable political party. So we always want to make sure that whatever we deal with, we are dealing with real things and not propaganda. So that's where we are, leaders. We are at a place where they are playing around with Arise South Africa. They are trying to make sure we are distracted. And what we need to do is to make sure that we are not distracted. We need to make sure that these are the times where we are laser focused on the goal. We have got just a few days left to the elections. 52 days left, 51, 52 days, depending on whether you see special day of voting, which is 2 days before the voting. There are people that vote, the people that apply for a special vote. So we are 51 days away from the election, and there's a court case. We are trying to be distracted. We will not be distracted. We will not lose focus. And I want to thank all the leaders that are going out every day to mobilize for Arise South Africa. Thank you for keeping Pledge 5. Thank you for doing more. There are leaders that are going out there. There are leaders that in our last meeting said, President, we bought the sound system. We bought a speaker. There are leaders that are going to taxi ranks every single Saturday. They are switching off that loudspeaker and they are preaching the message that Arise South Africa is going to change the future of South Africa. So thank you to everybody who is refusing to be distracted. I see Anthony says, I want to be part of the structure in Pretoria West. Yes, we've got different structures and branches. Be a part of it. Get involved. Ensure that each and every one of us are working. Kairos says, all leaders need to focus, unite, and keep working on the ground. All 9 provinces must be mobilized to vote Arise South Africa. All 52 regions must be mobilized to vote Arise South Africa. All 4,468 wards must be mobilized to vote for Arise South Africa. And that's exactly what we are doing, because we will not allow ourselves to be distracted. We will not allow ourselves to be distracted, because what I can see is that the IEC is just trying to distract us. We are trying to be distracted here. And if we allow ourselves to be distracted, we'll realize that the day they pronounce to say, no, it's all well, Arise South Africa can be on the national ballot, we would have lost time because we focused on the wrong thing. Now, we are already 10 steps ahead. We are aware that there is a notion to deceive and distract the many. And we are already ahead to say we will be focused on the goal. The work which you said we have started to do, that's exactly what we are going to do. So please, let us not allow ourselves to get distracted in any way. Arise South Africa will be on the ballot paper. Each and every one of us are ready for the ballot paper. Now, leaders, we continue with our mission. Every day we are sharing the message of Arise South Africa. And this week I went over to King David's studio, and I went there and I shared a very powerful message while I was there. Now, the episode is on 60,000 views in 3 days, and they've titled it, White Rich People Run Politics in South Africa. And I'm sure many of you have watched it, and if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. But I want us just to watch 1 minute of it, just the beginning of it, just so we can see it. But I want everybody to watch it. I've been looking at the comments. They've been amazing. Somebody says, this guy deserves to be the Minister of Education for a few years, then President of the country. He speaks my kind of language. Somebody says, Mpho has a kingdom mentality, and with God, he will go beyond the sky. Our country needs such leaders. Mpho is my favorite. He's going to get my vote. You know, so many people, and this is what I often say to the leaders of Arise South Africa, to say, let's not be distracted. Whenever we are available on platforms, these 60,000 people, these are South Africans that are going to be voting for Arise South Africa. So we have a multitude of people that are aligned with our vision. Every day we are increasing it. So take a look at this for a minute.
In South Africa, it would seem that whoever funds you depends or determines how rude or how you come across. You know, what we begin to realize is when Elon Musk applied to say, I want to give internet to South Africa so that every rural area has internet, he was told that, Baba Elon, 30% BE. People said, if you don't give us this 30%, you're not going to get this internet. And they even went as far as saying, let him line up at ICASA like everybody else and apply, you know.
Yeah. Are you saying you're going to ban porn?
Of course, yeah. Pornography will be banned.
What else are you going to ban?
HIV, GBV. I mean, these cases alone. Pornography reduces these cases. Anybody who's saying keep pornography, you're basically saying GBV, rape, HIV, STDs. You're basically saying let them continue. I'm doing this podcast with you, and everybody who's watching the podcast, please make sure you share this, because we don't have money to go on SABC, but you can share it with 20 people, 30 people, 100 people, and this podcast can go viral. So let's ensure that every single person click. While I am talking, don't just listen. Click on the share button and share it. Let's make sure that this goes viral.
King David Studio Podcast.
There you have it. The King David Studio Podcast had us, and we are so grateful. And a lot of people said very interesting things. Somebody called me and they said, President, we heard that you are going to ban pornography. And, you know, they were engaging to say, why are you banning pornography? And why can't you allow people to watch whatever they want to watch? And I said to them, at Arise South Africa, there are certain things we will do in the country to ensure that what the enemy has planted in the minds of our people will uproot it so that we deal with certain things. And if it means we are going to ban pornography, then be it. We will ban it. That means that young people will not be watching pornography on their phones, but they will be watching things that are constructive and that are able to build a nation. But if you want to hear more about that, go and watch that episode. Spend some time watching. And as you watch, don't just watch. Share and let the country know. Let the country know what we are doing. Let the country know exactly what is going on. Now, leaders, I want to bring your attention to something that we've always been saying. Because sometimes when we speak our message, many people hear us, but they don't believe us. So it's important sometimes to look at the facts. And these are the statistics that have just come out. The Africa Fact Zone, we've checked this. Africa's country's tax revenue for 2023 to to 2024 period. This means how much have we collected in tax? Now, what is tax? I need everybody to understand. Tax is the amount that you give the government to be able to run the country. It is your money. Tax is not money that comes from the government. No, tax is your money. So, what is the total that you gave the government over the last year? Now, if you don't yet know how to calculate this, let me quickly help you because some people forget. 15% of whatever you buy is charged with VAT. So calculate how much VAT have you paid the country. If you earn a salary, there is VAT, there is tax, UIF tax that goes off from your salary. Calculate how much. It depends on where you are. If you are earning a high salary, you can be taxed up to 40%. If you are earning a low salary, it's less. Whenever you are doing things like profit in business, etc., you are taxed. So this is the calculation of how much has South Africa collected in tax over the period, over a year. That's what we are calculating. I want to know from the comment section, yourself as an individual, how much do you think you've given this country in tax over the last year? I want you to calculate and let me know in the comment section. How much have you given this country in tax over the last year? How much have you paid every time you buy a can of Coke? Every time you buy some food? Every time you buy some, you are paying VAT. You are paying 15%. Every time you are paying 15%. How much have you given the country in terms of tax? How much? I want to know in the chat box. Now, let's go back. What this shows us, it says that South Africa collected $115 billion in tax in 1 year. This is not in rands. If we had to put this in rands, I think let's do it because sometimes people, they ask us questions and, they don't understand certain numbers because we are only keeping them, these numbers in dollars. No, let's do it in rands so that we are together. How much is it in rands? How much is it in rands? How much is it in rands? Let's see. Hey, why is it not converting for us? Why is it not converting for us? We want to know how much is this in rand. So from US dollars to rand, we want to put it in here. 115. Hey, billion has how many zeros? 9 zeros. Am I right? Okay. Yeah. No, let's see. Oh, the calculators are failing us. They are saying that South Africa has collected too much money. Can someone help us in the comment section there? Can someone quickly do the calculation for us? How much is it in rands? Hey! Yeah, no. The calculators are saying the money is too much. The calculators are saying, South Africa, the money you have as a country is too much. But let's go back to it because it's important. This is the money that the government has and should be spending to grow our country. They should be spending to build roads, to build schools. They should be spending to ensure that our economy is functioning. Where is the 115 billion? Now, with your vote, you are giving this money to be managed and spent by a government. And this is why it's important because we always say to people that South Africa is rich. The problem we've got is that every year the money gets looted. Out of this 115 billion, how much of it gets stolen by politicians? How much of it do they loot? As you can see, other countries, number 2 in South Africa is Morocco with 27 billion. Number 3 is Egypt with 25 billion. We're still in dollars. Number 4, Nigeria with 12 billion. Number 5, Ethiopia with 9 billion. If you take Morocco plus Egypt plus Nigeria plus Ethiopia, the total is less than South Africa. Do you see how much money this country has? Now, when we now say we want to hold the government accountable for the 115 billion that's coming in every year to see what is South Africa doing with this money, they now start to say, no, Arise South Africa cannot be on the ballot paper. Arise South Africa needs to be taken off. Arise South Africa needs to go to court. Why? Because they know that they will not be able to lie to us. They know that we will come and question this because it is the culture of Arise South Africa to stand for the truth. It is the culture of Arise South Africa to expose the wickedness that this government is performing. It is the culture of Arise South Africa to hold the government accountable. When they sit down, they are afraid to say that president, Mpho Dagada, will go on his channel and he let all the leaders of Arise South Africa know publicly that they are stealing money. And I will do so. Because it's important that we start telling the truth about our government. There are still people that believe that our government is poor. There are still people that believe that, 350 grant is enough because our government doesn't have enough money. What do you mean? We collect more money than the top 4 countries in Africa. This money, we are even struggling to convert it to rands. I'm seeing in the comment section, I'm seeing that leaders are having a challenge. People are having a challenge with this number. And you can't blame them because the number's too much. Over 100K. Somebody is saying, oh, okay, these are people that were giving us their numbers. Sorry, they were giving us their numbers. Somebody says 2 trillion plus. About 2 trillion rand. This is the money that this country has got. Where is the money going when we have half the nation still living in poverty? Do you see why they are trying to distract Arise South Africa? Do you see why their mission is to make sure that we are not on the ballot paper? Do you now see why they don't want new political parties coming on the scene? Because they want to continue stealing this money together. And they know that if the people that stand for the truth and righteousness are there, we will not allow this to happen. How do you have so much money and yet majority of our people are still struggling in our nation? South Africa is a global superpower. We're a global superpower. Read some of the comments. Somebody said, South Africa is the one and only superpower and giant of Africa. Somebody says, we're far ahead. South Africa, I keep saying, this Nigeria is just a village in SA, not even a province. Hey, this Dr. Dibuvenda don't, this is a very prideful line, but I'm not disagreeing. But the pride here is too much. Let's lower it a bit. Somebody says, this is why South Africa has free education and other basic human right needs. We pay too much tax. Somebody says, Nigeria made 12 billion from tax. People are saying all sorts of things, but at the end of the day, this is money collected from our country. And Arise South Africa has been saying that we are the richest country in the world. Don't believe the lies. South Africa is the richest country in the world. We have the most amount of minerals in the world. The reason they don't want us to be there, the reason they are trying to fight Arise South Africa, the reason why they want you to get tired, the reason why it's an attack spiritually, physically, mentally, the reason why they will do everything to get rid of Arise South Africa is because they know that if Arise South Africa is in power, this nation will take its rightful place amongst many nations. And that's why you and I every day, we must fight. That's why you and I every day, we must not be silent. That's why the videos like this, you must share it with as many people as possible. That's why every time there is a video that we release, you ensure that you let as many people know as possible. That's why every day we need to make sure that more and more people know the message of the truth. Because what Arise South Africa is sharing on a daily basis is the truth. That's what we are sharing. And I want to thank every single person. Our YouTube channel is now on 50,000 subscribers. By the way, in the beginning of this year, this YouTube channel was not here. This is all the different subscribers that have come on board. And when they get here, there's nobody twerking here. There's nobody dancing around here. It's the truth. We are all speaking the truth. In every interview, in everything, what we stand for is the truth. The SG of Arise South Africa, he loves to say, I salute you in the order of the truth. In the truth order. I want you to type in the comment section, Arise is for the truth. Arise is for the truth. Arise is for the truth. We stand for the truth. And more people, they are beginning to wake up to this truth. There are people that say, President, before you started to speak, we used to believe certain things about our country. But now, ever since we started to listen to you, we now know the truth. We are wiser. So when you share this video, you are sharing the truth. They will know the truth, and the truth will set them free. Many people have been set free from the lies. Many people have stopped believing the nonsense that they used to believe. Ever since Arise South Africa started sharing the truth, more people are aware of the truth. The truth has set them free. Yes, 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 the truth, the truth, the truth. Yes, we stand for the truth. They thought they could lie to our people forever, not on our watch. We are here. The truth is here. Now, it's very important to realize that anything can happen. Somebody said, President, we've got 50 days. How much can we do? Is it possible that we can cover all the nation in these 50 days? Can we still win the elections? I want to show you a testimony. A testimony of somebody who was in jail, and 10 days later, this person became the president of a country here in Africa. It's not too late. It's not too late. No, Arise South Africa will be the ruling party in South Africa. It is not too late. I want to show you this testimony. I want to show you this example to strengthen your faith and show you that it's not too late. We can still win the election. Take a look at this.
Basiru Diomaye Faye is a name many of us may not have heard of so far. But now it is all set to go down in the history books. The 44-year-old opposition candidate in Senegal is set to become the youngest elected president in the African continent. He is set to take oath as the next Senegalese president. But the man who now has thousands of supporters rallying behind him was behind bars until 2 weeks before the March 24th election. He was arrested on charges of spreading misinformation and defamation. Then, what changed? And how did a political prisoner turn into a president-elect? Well, here's your answer. Faye is a close aide of firebrand leader Ousmane Sonko. Sonko's own bid to contest the presidential polls ended with a conviction in a defamation case, and his political party, the Patriots of Senegal, or PASTEF, was dissolved for staging anti-government protests. Sonko then stepped aside and threw his weight behind Faye, which in turn helped him win. According to provisional results, Faye has secured more than 53% of the votes across 90% of polling stations. He has vowed to govern the country with humility and transparency.
The Senegalese people have chosen to break with the past, to give substance to the immense hopes raised by our vision of society. I hope that our vision of society has given substance to their aspirations. I pledge to govern with humility and transparency and to fight corruption at all levels. I pledge to devote myself fully to rebuilding our institutions and strengthening the foundations of our way of life together.
During his campaign, Faye promised to weed out corruption and restore economic stability in Senegal. He has also assured the citizens that the new Senegalese government will review the country's ties with its former colonial ruler, France.
I would like to say to the international community and to our bilateral and multilateral partners that Senegal will always hold its ground and remain a friendly country and a reliable ally to any partner who engages with us in virtuous, respectful, and mutually productive cooperation.
Faye was congratulated by his biggest rival, the ruling coalition's candidate Amadou Ba. Ba conceded defeat after initially downplaying Faye's lead in the polls. The 62-year-old former prime minister, who was backed by the outgoing president Macky Sall, received a little over 36% of the votes.
Congratulations once again to President Diomaye Faye. I wish him every success at the helm of our country. May God accompany him as he carries out his mission for the greatness of our nation and the well-being of our population.
Faye's victory follows months of unrest and chaos in Senegal, as Senegalese citizens, including Sonko's supporters, have been staging massive protests against President Sall.
This election took place in a context marked by a pre-electoral crisis that cost lives, left many injured, and saw many patriots imprisoned. We intend to turn this page, to reconcile hearts, to reconcile the Senegalese people, and to set to work tirelessly to mark and realize the hopes raised by my election and the project I am carrying forward.
The protesters accused Sal's government of corruption and failing to address chronic poverty. What fueled the protests further was Sal's bid to delay the presidential election that was originally scheduled for February 25th. Sal wanted to postpone the election by 10 months, a move that was vehemently opposed by the citizens and blocked by the country's top court.
We gave him our votes so he could be elected. He has forgotten everything. He does whatever he wants with this country. He oppresses us with force. There is only injustice.
Now, Sal has promised to hand over the country's reins to his successor peacefully, aligning himself with the long-standing history of the peaceful transition of power that Senegal has followed since its independence in 1960. Faye's victory is being seen as a mark of Senegal's democratic resilience. The country is part of the West African region, a region that has witnessed as many as 8 military coups.
All right. What a story. The man was in prison 10 days before the election. And he comes out and he wins the election. Now, the polls, the people that were doing the polls saying who's going to win, the commentators, the newspapers, they had all declared a winner. All of them had said that this person is going to win. They had given the election to someone else. They had already declared who's going to win the election. But he comes out and he wins the election. He was in prison 10 days before the election. Arise South Africa seems to be in court. We are in prison. The court has gotten us in prison. 51 days before the elections, we are in court. He was in prison 10 days before. It reminds me of Joseph, who was also in prison, of Daniel, who was also thrown to prison. It reminds me that the way we are taking is a way that many that have changed things have also taken. So this court case that they've brought us, where they are trying to imprison Arise South Africa to ensure that people are not going out there and canvassing, that people are not going out there and sharing the message of Arise. This prison of this court case that they've put us in is the same prison that he was in, that he was released in. They put him in prison because they said he was sharing misinformation or the wrong information. He came out of prison and within 10 days, he won the election. We might be where we are, but where we are is an opportunity for us to win the elections. Come the 29th of May, where we are, what we are going through as Arise South Africa, it's a stepping stone for us to win the election. Maybe while he was in prison, I'm sure there were people who felt that where he ended up in prison, they said, maybe he tried. Some people said, look, he tried, but the prison thing, it cannot work out. Some people said it's the end of him because he was in prison. The polls, my favorite part in his whole story is that the commentators, the experts, the professors, those that know, they all said, no, he's going to lose the election. They had sat down and they had decided. And within 10 days of him coming out, he won the election. If you look in that video, there was no money for posters. People were printing small little pamphlets and putting them on people's cars because there was no money that they had for posters. People were just taking normal posters and printing them. But yet he won the election. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This woman just printed out her own little posters from a little internet cafe, and she said she went around the whole town putting these posters there. This lady as well, she comes out and she says, look, we didn't even have money. We just printed things and put them on a piece of paper, and we went out with our own cars and we went out canvassing. They didn't have buses, yet they won the election. There is a wind of change in Africa. There is a wind of change in Africa. Things are changing. Whether they decide to fund us or not, things are changing. We have success stories of people that they thought were never going to make it, and things changed and they made it. Arise South Africa, I want to say to you tonight that things are changing. Be inspired by this story of the Senegalese president who came from the prison, and in 10 days, he's now in the place of governance. We might be today in a place where we are in the court cases. We might be in a place where they are trying to distract us. They are trying to silence us. They are delaying us. Do not be discouraged. It happened. It happened to a president in Senegal. Don't let it weigh you down. It happened. But yet, the people came out and he won. Not by 40%, no, by over 53%. They won the election. Now, I want to encourage each and every one of us as leaders to say we've got 51 days. 51 days. Let's ensure that we are going out there everywhere we go. Let's not be distracted by the naysayers. Let's not be distracted by people that are complaining. Thank you so much. I'm seeing one of the leaders says we don't need to print posters. We will continue to pledge 50. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those that are pledging to print out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We don't need to wait. The wind of change is blowing. And each and every one of us, the more we get closer to the election, you will realize that the opposition gets thicker and stronger. Why? Because they are aware that things are happening. They are aware that these things are happening. The experts are asking themselves questions to say, how could every poll be wrong? How could the professors be wrong? How could the TV stations in Senegal be wrong? The wind of change is blowing, and we are those that are part of it. Now, we need to be aware that where we are, we should not get distracted. We have an election coming up, and each and every day we are all going out and we are ensuring that we are talking to people. Each and every day we are announcing Arise South Africa. Each and every day we are printing whatever we can and we are sharing the message. We are putting the posters on the placards. We are putting the posters on people's cars. Wherever we go, we are using what we have to get the message to go out there. It's important. It's important that we are not like those that are waiting. It's important that every single day we use it to share the message that Arise South Africa is ready to win the election. I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to say, leaders, be encouraged. If it could happen in Senegalese, if it could happen in Senegal, if it could happen that he came out of jail in 10 days and from jail straight to government, it can happen in South Africa. It can happen that a political party that was started in a year, a political party that they tried to distract by taking them to court, a political party that had so many challenges that it overcame. It can happen that we can win the election. Don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. There is still hope for Arise South Africa. It's possible for us to still win this election. Believe. Just one more time. So block out what the naysayers are saying. I said to somebody, I said, I wish I could have heard what his opponents have said or what people would have said to him once they found out that somebody who was running for the president in Senegal is in prison. I'm sure many of them laughed. I'm sure many of them said it's over with them. I'm sure many of them said that these ones don't know what they're doing. But he came out of prison. And now he's the president. The whole world is looking. We all know his story. That means that what he went through, it was actually a setup for the whole world to know what they went through. It was orchestrated to say, he won't just be, by the way, I've never known the previous president of Senegal. Many of us have never known. But there was a setup. There was a setup to say the whole world will know about his victory. And what was that setup? Maybe nobody would have known about Arise South Africa. If we had not gone through what we are going through right now, maybe our story would have not been known. But because of what we are going through, many people will remember. Many people will go back to these videos. They'll find your comment there. And that's why it's important that you always leave a comment. Because when history records, when we go back and we look at who were the people that were supporting, who were the people that were behind the vision, who were the people that were running for the mission, Facebook will record it. YouTube will record it. Your name will be there, written in the history books, to say there was this person who said, arise. It will always be known, even for years to come, to say you were there, you shared the video, you supported the mission, you did the right thing. I love what's going on. Because when you look at it, you see that it's a setup. It's a setup for Arise South Africa to take the global stage. Prepare yourself. The whole world will know about our story. Everywhere in the world, they will know that there was a political party. They will know our story. And when they know our story, they'll have to start to say, before qualifying, they had the mountain of raising 750,000. They will look at the bank accounts. They will see who were the people that stood. You know, we are writing the history books. They will remember you to say, you stood with Arise. You shared the videos. You were there in the comment section. You'll go back and you'll remember. And the good thing is that, you know, these things, they remind us over time of what is going on because your comment is there in real time. So I want each and every one of you to make sure that you are turning on your notifications. You are preparing to know everything. And I want to announce today that we are going to start unpacking our manifesto. I see lots of people are asking questions about the land, immigration. There are lots of questions. We are going to start unpacking the manifesto. How we are going to do it, those of you that have gotten your hands on the book, I Am the Vision, we are going to be going through the book and doing a deep dive. So if you don't have the book, get your hands on the book. It's available at exclusive books and any bookstore. If you can't afford to buy the book, it's okay. We are going to be doing a deep dive. Every day, we are going to be unpacking our manifesto because our manifesto is so long and lengthy that we can't just announce it in one day in a 40-minute speech and that's it. No, it's a teaching of its own. It's a doctrine of its own that you must teach and everybody must understand and we must go out there and teach it to more people. So what will we be covering in our manifesto? By the way, I want to just take you through what we're going to be covering. We're going to start by looking at what's going on in South Africa. Then we're going to look at it's time for the youth to arise. Then we're going to look at the mineral resources and the energy. Then we're going to look at the electricity and the power, the agriculture and the land, the crime and the corruption, manufacturing, tourism, our leadership model in South Africa, infrastructure, per capita earnings and the wealth inequality, education, sports and recreation, the media, the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence. Which one of those topics are you excited about? So we're going to be doing a deep dive in each and every one of those topics. We're going to be doing a deep dive, unpacking the manifesto. So as you know, it's a lot of things we're going to be covering. So our manifesto is going to be over 12 days. So for the next 12 days, we're going to start on Monday. For the next 12 days, we'll be going live every single day, unpacking the manifesto, unpacking the manifesto. And it's going to be different because I'm going to be teaching. So when you come in, you take notes, you listen, we teach, you ask the questions, and we engage. So it's going to be teaching sessions, unpacking Arise South Africa's manifesto. I hope you are excited. I hope you are ready. And I hope that you'll be sharing exactly what our manifesto is saying every day. So I'm excited. I'm ready, and I'm fired up to share the manifesto because it's a vision that's going to challenge you to think differently. It's a vision that's going to cause you to open up your mindset and receive insight as to what is going on in this country. So our country will never be the same again. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you on Monday. Turn on the notification bell so that whenever we go live, you always watch. Arise, mighty eagles, arise. Arise, South Africa, arise. Arise.